In the earlier days of game art, all you had to really worry about was a diffuse texture, and maybe a specular map or bump map if you were lucky. You could paint everything into this map, so you had almost complete control over how it appeared in the game, but the big trade-off was that it worked under relatively static conditions. In this example I have here, this is a piece of fan art I did. It's a World of Warcraft paladin, and it was made using the older technique of relying mostly on the diffuse texture. And actually didn't even make a specular map for this model. Although it looks decent on first inspection, you can see that a lot of the lighting here is actually painted into the texture once you start moving the light around or the camera. You see that none of these highlights are changing. Now this isn't necessarily a terrible thing. I mean, many games still rely on this kind of thing, but since then, improvements to lighting and rendering technology now require you to think about textures very differently. You can now make your model appear higher resolution and have more interesting visual effects than what was possible in the past. But you also need a lot more information from different kinds of maps in order to make this happen. This data isn't always easy to generate by hand, which is where baking comes into play. So what is baking and why do we need to do it? Well, the basic idea behind baking is to sample the surface information of one model to create a map that another model can use to convey a similar effect. The most obvious example of this is a normal map where you can make your low polygon model look like your high resolution model. The baking process helps ensure that the details from all of these different maps line up together